Sounds good. I'm trying to open this fucking Zen box, so take me a second.
A what box? Oh, heard of those.
There we go. I usually do them when I'm at work, when I'm at someone's house, but Zen type of night.
Yeah, is that like a nicotine? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
thought so.
it's kind of like dip, but you don't spit anything. I think it's called like snus or something.
Hey there,
What's
Ignis
going on?
Persephorons.
What's up?
Oh, I was saying hi to Ignis Persephorons. He's the first person in the chat.
What's up, Ignis?
I'm probably pronouncing Ignis wrong. It's probably Ignis or something. Oh well.
No idea. I'm real bad at pronouncing names.
Yeah, it doesn't help that it's Latin. Hello then, Franklin Lefevers. Great to have you here again.
What's going on, Franklin?
Top V, breathe there.
Damn, 8 people already. That's pretty fast.
Yeah. Usually we get around 20 to 30 live viewers once they have a moment.
Hell yeah.
It's great to see you, Witch Doll. The breathe air thing was an Andrew Tate reference.
Oh, okay.
He was just going on a tirade about people who vape.
Oh, shit.
Like, fuck that guy, but that was a funny clip.
Yeah, that shit's funny. I think I've seen that one a long time ago.
Hello there, Witch Doll and Fluoxetine Queen. I don't know what fluoxetine is, but it sounds illegal.
Sounds like fancy way of saying fluoride.
Yeah.
What's going on, Tyler?
You know Tyler?
Nope. I don't think so.
I was just surprised because I put your pseudonym in the title, not Kennedy.
I might know him from a different name.
Oh, apparently the chemical I was confused about is Prozac.
Fancy.
Prozac Queen. It's almost like calling yourself Fent God or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Can I get you to introduce yourself?
What's up? I'm Caleb. Oh, fuck. I just government name myself. Oh, well. I'm Kennedy. I prefer that name, but fuck it at this point. I'm a Jinn practitioner. I work with the Abyss. A couple other things, but that's mainly it for right now.
Hell yeah. So, you've been working with DJINN mostly. How long have you been doing that?
It's been a few years now. I think probably like 3-4 years. What's up, Sean? But that was a pretty abrupt practice that took over for quite a long time.
So, to my understanding, you work in a sort of Arabian closed practice that deals with DJINN, right? Hell yeah. So, I'm not sure how much of this you could even go into, so feel free to withhold. But what are the main differences between, the closed approach that you take versus, say, what I take?
Fuck, I don't know how to answer that. That'd get real complex real fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that outsiders should know about the closed practice, apart from the fact that it's closed?
Just if you fuck around, you'll get hurt. So try not to fuck around too much. Certain spirits or do their own thing, but the Jinn don't fuck around a whole lot. Once you flip that fucking bag, it's all out there. So be real careful.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite kind of Jinn to work with?
That's tough. Probably the Al Jathum or the Ifrit. Those are like the most fun.
Them.
Any type of summoning them, it's just immediate fucking action. It's great. Energy makes you feel like you're tripping out a little bit.
I've actually never heard them referred to as the Al Jathum before.
I can't remember their name right now. That's always what I've called them.
Oh, cool.
But they're the sleep paralysis Jinn, also Jinn of disease. They're pretty cool. They're really good at if you like curse somebody with them, they're really good at tiring that person out. It's harder to sleep, it's harder to live. So it's great for like precursor curses.
Yeah. So, can you talk a bit about the Shayateen? What people you should know about them?
Um, fuck. You caught me on like such a bad day. I was
So,
like preparing for this the whole time, and I'm still not prepared. Um, I'll probably have to come back to you on that one.
okay. Braden asked, "What's the luckiest type of Jinn? Like, which one's best? Kind is best for luck?"
Um, Never really worked with a Jin for anything luck related, but I'd probably say the Ifrit would be really good for that.
Yeah.
They're very raw, so I feel like luck would probably be something they're good with.
The only spells I've ever cast for luck have been like quick little charm spells. Like
Yeah,
I'll go like, I've knocked on wood, so my luck is good, or something like that. Just whatever poem I will make up.
I've been told for years that my luck is like anti luck. I don't die, and that's about as far as it goes.
So you were telling me that you had experience with one of the seven kings of the Jinn. So those are generally attributed to the seven alchemical planets. You were talking about Maimon. Which planet does he rule?
It's a Saturn, I believe,
Nice, nice.
but
What was he like?
well, evoked him one time, and it like the first time it was kind of like a no fucking around. We're not friends. This is purely transactional. No small talk, nothing like that. It was nothing fun really. I came to him for some disease workings, and he's kind of just like, here, now fuck off. Go on your own fucking way. But
So,
it was cool. He didn't kill me, so thankful for that.
were you healing disease or causing it?
Causing.
I thought so. Yeah, we've actually the two of us have actually really fucked up some other practitioners together. It was fun, and I see Robbie. She helped us.
What's up, Bobby? Yeah, that was crazy. Been no fun days.
Yeah, it was really satisfying the way it all came together. Dude lost 3 homes in the same year.
Can't believe it.
Um, hey Otani. Um, Otani asked, "Do Jen try to help souls on this planet advance?"
Um, I mean, they have a lot to do with alchemy. In my experience, I've done a lot of alchemy with them, but I don't think they're here to like advance our souls. Um, from my belief, before Islam took over the Middle East, they helped humans with curing disease and science and that kind of stuff. But they kind of hold a grudge, and I can't really blame them. They get binded and tormented and demonized. So
Robbie says we need to fuck people up together again. I'm down.
I agree. People haven't been fucking with me as much lately. I think I got hit. I think like a week ago, but I did something back and I haven't felt anything since. So
Nice. One person managed to get a hit on me last year. I don't know who it was, but I removed it before it could do anything.
I find that people have a really hard time hitting me directly, so it gets like shit around me, like my vehicle breaks down or something stupid like that.
Um, the fire-breeded virgin asked if you've ever worked with Mushtari or Shamarish.
I have not. Um, I mainly work with like Ifrit, ghouls, Aljathum. I don't dive too deep into the like the kings and queens and daughters of Iblis, stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, that I learned about that from the daughters from the Devil's Quran, and I think I originally learned about the 5 sons from Wikipedia. So,
Oh, okay.
but speaking of the ghouls, so the only type of ghouls I've worked with are the ones I call the shaitanic undead.
Hmm.
They're these, they were human practitioners who excelled in both necromancy and shaitanic magic, and basically became like an undead priesthood of the Arabic devil in the afterlife. I'm guessing most ghouls aren't like that.
Um, from what I know, the ghouls they're thought to be like a physical being, kind of
Mm,
like if you read, or ask people in the Middle East or read, I think it's in the Quran, they like live in trash and they live in like deserted places in the desert,
mm.
but they're really cool. Having like a horde of them attack somebody, it's like yeah, crazy experience. They just fuck shit up. Um, they're cool. They're like the easiest to start working with
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
if you were
Really?
if you were to start.
Those are the easiest to start with. That surprises me.
Yeah, Efreet, I wouldn't start with them at all. It took me a while before I approached any of them. Um, Aljathum, not unless you like sleep paralysis. I wouldn't try it for a good minute. They like to test you, so I prefer the test of ghouls. They kind of just like physically manifest outside my windows and knock on shit and knock shit over. That's all cool. You know,
Is that to see if they can like scare you off the path?
yeah, they'll try to scare you to see how you react. If you like become hostile towards them or if you like, how you work your way around it. Um, when I first started, I worked with like four ghouls, and they tormented me for a couple of days. And I'm not gonna lie, it freaked me the fuck out, but it was fun.
Yeah, it does sound freaky. So, what is it like to be tested by the Ifrit?
They haven't tested me as much. It took me quite a while, so I think I gained the trust of quite a bit of ghouls before approaching an Ifrit. But it was definitely kind of like it's kind of standoffish. They don't want to fuck around and trust you. So it was very like be respectful. Don't joke around. Don't try to be funny or anything like that. You kind of have to be real serious. Um,
Yeah.
but over a couple days, couple weeks, it starts to ease up.
So, Braden asked if you have any tips for making spells working with the Jinn more potent.
Um, Definitely, anything Arabic related, fire. If I do any type of ritual with this Jinn, it involves fire. They
Mm,
they breathe through it, they come through it. It's myrrh, frankincense, tobacco. They fucking love tobacco, liquor,
mm.
all that stuff will aid it.
Nice. Behemoth X asked, how has working with the Jinn made your life better? What benefits have you received?
A whole lot of money, just
Mm,
randomly. Um, a lot of things in that sense, as far as like, I'll be like, fuck, I'm broke, and the next day I get, you know, find a way to get money. Um, a lot of alchemy. That's kind of like made me feel reborn in a way. I
yeah.
don't know how to describe that, but just like little stuff like that that adds up.
Mm. Robbie told us to put the cig and vape down before admitting that she was actively lighting a cigarette at the moment.
Crazy. I have a Zen and I'm hitting the vape, so I'm in it tonight. What's up, Amara?
Oh, hey, great to have them here. Tyler said that from what he knows, ghouls are jinn that feed on death essence. Would you agree with that?
I could definitely see that being a thing. Yeah, and I've heard that they like fuck with like old people. So I
Mhm.
don't know how true that is. I don't have any experience with them fucking with old people, but you
Yeah.
know,
So Sean Berg said that he didn't finish that my Rites of Shitanic initiation PDF last year. Like he didn't finish it, but a few days ago he felt inspired to go through with the path working. So have you read Rites of Shitanic initiation?
I have. I did a couple of them too. I think I got up to like the fourth one.
Oh yeah, how'd it go?
It was cool. I wasn't feeling much, and then Iblis came with his daughters and was like, "Yeah, what the fuck's up?" And I was like, "Oh, my bad." gave him a bunch of offerings, and then it started hitting.
Okay, okay. Um, so of all the that book is really very much based on like the loose bits of black magical literature I could get my hands on at the time, but it's mostly personal gnosis. So, what do you think of how I describe the Jinn? Is there anything you disagree with?
It's a long time ago. I have terrible memory, so
Oh,
um, if there was anything bad, I would have remembered it. But
okay.
from what I remember, everything was good. Everything was solid.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that Genia 6 did the same thing.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Genius Six is cool. I talked to them a little bit. And we had a lot of similar experiences.
Mm. So, the fire breathing virgin has an interesting question. He says that the Aljathum and Ifrit were also part of the Mazikeen 13 ghouls and the demons birthed by Adam and Eve during their separation. Do you know anything about this Mazikeen 13 and what's your take on it? I've never heard of that.
I haven't heard of that either, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, I know a little bit from what I've heard is like the Shin Kings, like King Paimon, a few other Infernals. They're the mix between a Marid and Ifrit, like breeding, but I'm not 100% sure on that either. That's just from what I've heard.
Seven Kings
So,
of the Jinn are partially Ifrit.
like, I wouldn't say that those like these seven Shin Kings, but I forgot how to describe it. It was like King Paimon, a couple other Infernals that have stuff to do with this Jin.
Oh
Um,
yeah, someone mentioned that. Someone asked something about the demon Dantalion possibly also being a Jinn. I've never heard that of you.
I haven't heard that. I don't have any experience with them though. I think I talked to them once or twice, but nothing crazy.
Sean asked if you intend to start making YouTube content soon.
Probably not. I'm kind of lazy. Um, I don't really post much anywhere except for Instagram, but maybe in later times. But
That reminds me, I need to add your Instagram profile to the description later.
I appreciate it.
So there was this really cool ritual you performed over me called the Eyes of the Jinn. Can you tell people a bit about that?
So I was looking for rights to create for people that were involving this shit because it's kind of hard to find something that you can, just kind of give out to the public.
Hmm.
And started diving deep into senses, and Eyes of the Shin was one of them, where pretty much take the eyes, give them to the Shin, go to Jahannam, and then transform them and alchemize them, and it's pretty cool. The other I have like a set of 2. That was one of them. The next one's coming out next Friday. So, I'll
Hell yeah.
definitely text you about that.
But yeah, Robbie is still waiting on that ritual.
Yeah, I forgot to do it.
Oh, I was like, did Kennedy forget to do something, or did I forget to do something? I'm like confused. But yeah, I had that ritual perform. You performed that ritual over me, the Eyes of the Jinn, and it was really cool. Um, you time locked them the same kind of this, sort of like how I do.
Mhm.
When I woke up the day after the ritual, I could feel that I could like, you know, put the Eyes of the Jinn on and off, kind of like you said you could. Um, really does wonders for your claircognizance, just sensing stuff about people.
Hell yeah. I'm glad to hear. I started time locking that specifically because, I think I did it to myself at, like, 5:30 in the morning one day, and that drive to work was fucking awful. My eyes were burning the whole time. So, it probably helps adjust a little bit if someone's sleeping.
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, they were so addictive to use at first. I like kept putting them every time I took them off. I'm like, I need them back on. I'm gonna scan. I don't know whoever the fuck. I
Yeah, I was
scanned
doing
quite a
that
few
too.
people with them, and I learned something in doing so. It seems that you're not allowed to use the eyes of the Jinn on the person who gave them to you.
Well, that's probably good.
Yeah. I wasn't even looking for anything in particular. I was just having fun using them. But yeah, I tried to, just scan you. The next 10 minutes were unpleasant. I didn't get fucked up too bad, but it was a bad time.
Well, I apologize for you getting fucked up, but on the
No,
bright
no,
side,
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
that bad.
awful.
Probably should have known better, anyways.
It happens. I've done stupid shit like that. I go and fuck around too much.
Sean had some ringing in his ear the moment VK talked about putting the Jinnik eyes on. Well, you can hire him for that ritual. What you
Yeah,
charge?
yeah. It's 165 USD. You just
Hmm.
message me on Instagram anytime. If you don't have it now, whatever, you can just message me, and I have some materials right now, so
Oh yeah,
keeping
hell yeah.
stocked up as much as I can. I ran out the other day, and I was fucking panicking.
Robbie agrees that Sean should get that ritual. Sean's actually waiting on a service from me too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. So, what kind of warnings would you give to someone who wants to work with the Ifrit?
Um, I mean, there's quite a few. You want to keep it very limited at first. You don't want to just be like, what's going on? Come inside my house. You're invited in my space and stuff like that. Um, if you find a way to piss them off, which isn't like hard, but it's not super easy either. They will find your weaknesses and they'll attack every weakness you have. They're pretty quick with it. So be very respectful. Watch your words. Apologize if you do say something stupid.
That was an accident.
Yeah, microdose the free energy. You'll be alright.
Yeah. Microdose. That got Robbie too. I have yet to hear from Cheeseburger Man again.
Oh man.
What do you mean? What the fuck am I doing? I'm doing a live stream. What are you doing?
One second. Grabbing another one.
Okay. Oh yeah. Amara says they miss Mr. Cheeseburger. I do too.
I don't know who that is, but I also miss them.
Um. So Ignis is asking if the Jinn or the Ifrit are as dangerous as the spirits of Ahriman.
It's kind of hard to scale like how dangerous spirits are compared to others because there's like a bunch of different things that they can do. Um, the Ifrit themselves, they probably just if you have any type of mental weakness, they'll hit that hard. So they're really quick with it. Fire is a very fast uh element, so you know expect it like right away. You don't have any time to prepare for anything.
So I think that the spirits of Ahriman are probably more dangerous, just because their thing is once you start working with them, they put you on a fast track to either destruction or ascent, and
Oh,
they
okay.
genuinely do not care at all which fucking result you get. They'll rejoice either way. Um, like like demons, for example, like actually care about people who work with them. The spirits of
Mhm.
Ahriman don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you have a very transactional relationship with the Jinn, I could see it being kind of like that. Like they couldn't give a fuck less. But once it gets to like a personal level, like how it would be with like an infernal, then I think they start caring. I hope at least.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit about the Quarine?
Um, can you rephrase that for me? My mind blanked.
I was asking if you could talk a bit about the Quarine, the sort of like personal gen that's like attached to everybody.
Oh, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Um, I never spoke to the one I have. If that's like a real thing, I'm not too sure. I kind of ventured out more than looking in, but if he is real and that's a thing and he's around, I'll probably eventually speak to him. But
I think it's a real thing. I know who mine is.
oh, okay, hell yeah. From what I know, or from what I've heard, um, like your birthday, like having a cake is like an offering for him, and it's like kind of like it's like asking for a wish on your birthday, and that's why like you blow out the candles.
Mm,
But if anybody in that room has any type of negative feelings about you, then it doesn't work. So
mm,
keep your circle tight.
yeah. Robbie is smoking and drinking, so she feels included.
Hell yeah. It's fucking
Yep.
Sunday, but whatever.
Sean cursed a pedo the other day with the power of Chavajoth and Abaddon.
Fuck yeah. That's good to
Nav-
hear.
Navjiat asked if Iblis and the Jinn are aligned with Mayor Jirai. I'm sure they get along well.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd get along. I worked a little bit in the marriage Ryan, but I didn't get too far into it. Um, worked a little bit with Cernabog, but
Mm.
I kind of spaced it out a little bit. So they didn't really cross paths in my space at least.
Amara says hamburger, cheeseburger, hamburger, cheeseburger. She's trying to fill the void that Mr. Cheeseburger left. Do you know who that is?
I have no idea.
When Amara and I were live together, someone with the username Mr. Cheeseburger came in and just started spamming hamburger, cheese mac, or Big Mac, Whopper. Just kept doing that. So I banned the guy, and then he comes back on a second account and starts doing it again. So I banned him a second time. Then I see a third Mr. Cheeseburger profile in the chats, just typing all caps. I cannot be stopped. At that point, I
That's
decided to
crazy.
let him stay.
Yeah, I mean at that point he kind of earned his way in here, I guess.
Yeah. Corey asked what the Jinn can help with that demons cannot.
Um, well, I mean, I guess it depends on the demon, really. Um, it's very versatile either way. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
really
really
know.
think there's an answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, fuck, King Paimon, very knowledge related. So a lot of the Jin are, I mean, these Jin are very smart. So that's pretty close, you know.
Amara says that they don't know Mr. Cheeseburger, but they're willing to take him on as their disciple.
I also agree.
Ignis asked, "Is it wrong or unprofessional to ask a spirit to show themselves? I'm trying to work on clairvoyance, and I've never asked Amdusius to show himself, but for the purpose of practice, I might." I'm like, I think that should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem with that. I do that quite often. Uh,
Uh,
I mean, just be prepared. To
yeah, is the Eyes of the Jinn the only ritual service you currently offer, or are there more?
No, I offer a good couple of things. Just on my little page. I have empowerments, curses, that kind of stuff. But I also do stuff that's not on that list. Main thing I don't do are love spells.
Yeah,
That's not my thing at all. Nothing against it. I'm just not good at them. But a lot of
not
baneful stuff like that. I'm good with.
Navjiat asked if you offer any money-related rituals.
I do. I do have a little money ritual. I think it should be on my service list.
Otani asked if there are no. Corey asked if there are any jinn that can help with clefothic workings.
Um, I mean maybe with knowledge, but not much else past that. I don't think they mix too well. Energies are very different. This in our nature spirits of fire, or the cliff oath is, the cliff oath.
Yeah, I think the only exceptions to what you said would be, of course, Paimon and
Yeah.
a spirit named Nimiku.
King Paimon helped me with the cliff oath quite a bit.
Otani asked, what are the Jinn's end goals for themselves?
It's actually an interesting question. I've never asked them that myself. I wouldn't really know. I know before it was very like they wanted to help humans, but when Islam took over, it's kind of like fuck that. So not too sure.
Yeah, that does make sense. Um, let's see. Oh, there's this practitioner named Ari Manasul. He told me that his gnosis was that Iblis, Shaitan, Melek, Taos, and Azazel were like four layers of the same being.
Hmm.
Would you agree with that, or?
Well, I know Shaitan is just like it's a title. Um, I think Iblis would be just like his actual name. I think if Iblis were to like transfer ownership or whatever, then whoever be next would be a Shaitan. But I'm not too sure about the other two, Azazel and the other name.
Oh yeah, Azazel. That's probably enough. That brings me back to the other guy's question, Corey. Yeah, Azazel is a jinn. That's good for Lithothic Ascent. Why didn't I think of
Hey,
that? Should have been the first thing I thought of. Corey says they would assume that the Jinn would be great for fire/candle magic empowerment spells. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
anything fire related, you know, if it's fire, they'll come through it. Empowerments, baneful workings, the list goes on.
So you've talked to me about how there's an Arabian closed approach to Jinn, but other people can work with Jinn as long as they don't try the closed approach.
Hmm.
Are there kinds of Jinn that only people in the closed practice can work with?
Um, I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess it'd be up to the particular Jin themselves. They all have their own personal opinion, but I wouldn't say there's an entire race you couldn't speak to in some way. Um, but they kind of have their own thoughts. If they don't fuck with you, they don't fuck with you. But yeah, another one of the same race might.
Ignis said, how do you know when you're ready for Clefothic initiation? Is it mandatory that you should be able to communicate with spirits easily? And does your life immediately start getting wrecked?
I failed the first time, so I couldn't tell you. Don't ask me.
Um, I would basically before you approach the Clifoth, I would recommend having some basic way of communicating with the demons, even if it's like a Ouija board or a tarot deck. Yeah, you want to be able to get guidance from them, and I wouldn't say that your life gets wrecked. Um, at least not until Doth. But no, the challenges aren't they don't wreck your life. They just are challenges, and well, if they're even challenging.
Doth fucked me the first time, and that's how I failed. And the second time, I initiated straight into Doth, and then I was sober in that time, and it was hell on earth. Alcohol everywhere. People were offering me alcohol left and right. Friends just happened to have my favorite liquor, on them. It was fucking crazy.
Damn. Navjiat said, "Is it better to ask King Paimon to assign a Jin to you for a certain goal than it is to contact the Jin directly?"
It'd definitely be safer. Um, just kind of like wandering around asking Shin for help will definitely very possibly get you fucked up. But, if you work with King Paimon, it'd be a great way to, kind of get in there.
Um, Sandra just came from TikTok. Great to have you. Um, VG asked if we could do a spell on stream to turn people into chickens.
Fuck yeah. I wish.
Madrista, no. Kennedy does not have a YouTube channel. They post on Instagram. I'll add the your profile to the description later.
Get that.
The demons will roast you during the Clefothic sphere workings if your life is messy. Kinda, yeah. They can be harsh critics sometimes. Um, Corey asked if there's any books about Jinn that you would recommend.
That's a tough one. I've never really found a book that was worth reading. Too much. A lot of it is very whitewashed. So, like, if you want to get like the raw, Shin practicing, you have to be out in the Middle East. Really, it's all taught by mouth.
So, what are your main criticisms of like the modern occult discourse around Jinn?
It's like it's heavily demonized still. Like they're like, yeah, we work with these, the Shin, but they're still like, oh, they're fucking demons. They're evil. Blah blah blah. I've heard people talk about how like the Jin burned down someone's house and killed their child and shit like that. And I'm like, bruh. I mean, maybe, but I really don't believe that. I think you just fucked around too much. You know. Um, there's kind of like a stopping point. If you don't have any type of ancestral connection and you keep fucking around, I think it'll eventually come.
Is it mandatory to get good at vampirism before getting into necromancy? No, but if you want a really deep dive into necromancy, I would recommend getting a really good handle on vampirism.
Vampirism is great.
Yeah, it's very fun. Um, this is just a random funny story you told me, but you energetically fucked with someone while they were live on TikTok and they closed the stream. Can you tell us that story?
Oh fuck, I barely remember that. Think it was someone on like TikTok Live or something, but I just kept vamping them, and I think I gave them an incantation or two to say, 'cause they're like trying to like debunk,
Oh,
spirituality.
that shit.
Yeah, and then eventually they fucking like shut it off real quick.
I actually meant the live that Corvus was doing, where you
Oh,
were fucking
oh,
with him.
oh, yeah, yeah. He was drugged out pretty bad, so it was real easy to get through it.
Oh yeah. Um,
What's up, Mello?
um, can I ask King Paimon to help with a project if we have only met once in a dream? Yes.
I'd give offerings, but yeah,
Navjiat asked, "What's the craziest jinn-related manifestation that you care to share?"
it's probably when they first started testing me. Um, I started evoking them, and I was going too quick, and then they started like popping outside my windows, physically manifesting, knocking on my windows, and that was pretty fucking scary. I had
Yeah,
me
I bet.
tripping up. I don't know if you've seen like the ancient drawings of Jin, but like they have like that I don't know, describe it like that stereotypical demonic face,
Mm.
and that was it's pretty much like that, but you know, real life.
Silver Moon asked if you use the Shams al Marif when you work with Jinn.
No, the Shams al Marif, I read part of it. A lot of it has to do with Allah, and I don't like him, so I stay away from that. It's pretty much Solomonic magic. I don't respect it really.
Do you use Ouija boards ever?
No,
Okay.
I
Ignis
haven't
asked,
got one, but I'd probably buy one for fun.
yeah. Ignis said, S. Connolly has a method calling Astaroth in order to consecrate a Ouija board. I've heard they can be dangerous because dead people can come through if not consecrated this way. Have you used them? I have. Yeah, generally speaking, I do advise consecrating your Ouija board one way or another. Um, but using a Ouija board is not intrinsically any more dangerous than any other approach to working with spirits. You know, the reason people get bad experiences is because people are usually trying to contact the dead. Now, the dead crave the company of the living. So when you call to one, more want to answer, and then that can go however it goes.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be pretty similar to using a tarot deck. No protections, just trying to talk to dead people.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. But that's about all I had to ask you.
Hell yeah.
Um, but yeah, you can be found on Instagram at young_ifrit.
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's young without an O. I'll add a link to the description, but yeah, if anyone wants to go follow now, it's young_ifrit without an O.
Yeah, with no, like the rapper names.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful to have you tonight.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
All right, see you soon.
See ya.